Okay, everyone, let's get started with our hand reflexology. Got our hand reflexology handout right here, and we are going to start with our right hands, and we are going to start with the first reflex area that we're going to walk, which would be the fingers, representing all of those head and neck reflexes. We're going to start with the little finger, and we're going to use a trigger grip. So imagine as if you were actually holding a gun or a pistol specifically. You have your index finger curled on the trigger, and then the thumb is behind. We're going to use that same grip in order to squeeze, release up each of the digits 3 times. We're going to start with the top and bottom of each digit, and then we're just going to rotate the hands so that we hit the sides of each digit. So that'll be a total of 6 passes per digit, 3 on the top and bottom, and 3 on both sides. And then just moving to each individual digit. So if you need to actually pull the finger forward to grip around that, you totally can. But essentially, what you're doing is you're creating that squeeze-release motion with each of the digits. 3. Moving to side, just a little shift of the hand, nothing too crazy. And walking up that digit 3 times. You could also hold it the other way and do a trigger grip, the thumb actually on the palmar surface, and squeeze, release, squeeze, release. That would be that angle from that perspective. And then switch. 2, and then 3. But we'll switch back to this view just so that I can show you guys. Again, nice squeeze, release, that's all we're doing. This is great for anybody who has arthritis, just to bring blood into the joints. 2, and 3. Moving to the thumb itself is a very delicate joint, so we want to make sure that as we squeeze, release, that we're actually not pulling or yanking or twisting that joint, but instead we are just, again, doing this squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release. 2, 3, and then again, side to side. 1, 2, 3. Done. And those are our fingers. Now we're going to go to the second reflex area, which would be the chest and lung reflexes, which are the palmar surfaces of the actual knuckles. So if you wanted to make a fist and actually look at the bumps, the knuckle bumps, those are the areas that we're actually walking, but on the palmar side of the hand. Okay? So we're going to wrap around the fingers of the hand for leverage. We're going to bring the thumb close to the palm so that you can reach the thumb joint, and keep the walking thumb bent just to protect it. Use an alternating pressure to walk across the palm or knuckles. So starting with that thumb side, just 3 times. Then we're going to go to that index finger side. So in line with that index finger, most people have a nice little line right there that will tell you, in addition to what you feel, where we're starting and stopping, but you just want to make sure that you're on that palmar side of the knuckles. Moving to each consecutive finger. 3. In line with the 4th finger. And in line with the 5th finger. Excellent. We're again going to wrap the fingers around the back of the hand for leverage, as we are going to walk the majority of the palmar surface for our upper digestive reflex area, that third reflex area. We're going to start just above this really patty area of the heel of the hand. We're going to start above that, just as you see that nice little dip start to happen in the center of the palm. And we're going to walk up that area in line with each finger. I started with the pinky finger on this hand, but you could always switch it up and start with the opposite, the thumb. Either way, you just want to make sure that as you're walking in this, what would be horizontal zone 3 on your maps, all those digestive reflexes, that you're really taking the time to clear each of these zones, making sure that each little line gets its own bit of attention, and really taking the time to feel for any active reflex points that maybe need you to hold them a little bit or address them in some way. Always making sure that if you feel like you need to rework an area, you totally can, but this is just 3 times per pass, just to give you a good overall feel for where you're walking. Perfect. And now we go to the 4th reflex area, which is that really soft and squishy part of the hand. A hand routine is much shorter than the foot routine, just because the hand is smaller. So you're going to start just above the wrist. Again, normally with the lining, people have lining just above that wrist, and we're going to start above that lining. We're just going to walk that really super padded area 3 times in line with each finger, moving across. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And if you feel, especially since some people have thenar issues, this is the thenar area. If you do have sensitivity around that thumb joint, please don't feel like you need to use excess pressure in order to be effective. Instead, just utilize what feels comfortable for you. Perfect. So those are how we walk our hand reflexes for self-reflexology. Great job, everyone. Now we are moving to our left hand. We're going to start with our finger technique. Again, that nice trigger grip starting with the digit. Squeeze, release, up that digit. Switching to that horizontal, or rather side to side. Squeeze, release. 2 and 3. So 6 passes total, and then moving to the next. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Or again, if you wanted a different view, if you wanted to trigger grip like this, you totally could. The thumb is always going to be on that palmar surface for the palmar and dorsal, or the top and bottom sides of your walking of the fingers. And then switching to that side-to-side grip, but again, 3 times down each digit. And then we'll just go back to this view so that you guys can see. We're going to start with our second finger. Just that nice squeeze, release. And then side to side. 2, 3. Okay. The thumb, again, just like we had mentioned on the right side, gets a little bit delicate. So if you need to just take it slow, feel free. But we're going to start with that same squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release. If you need to switch your angle, like I just switched the angle just so that you guys can see how exactly I'm doing the squeeze, release on the top and bottom here, feel free. If you need to just switch, do a couple orientations just to find what feels good for your hands. Again, self-reflexology is about relaxing and making yourself comfortable, so don't feel like you need to overextend yourself in order to practice. But as long as you have that squeeze-release alternating pressure on the sensitive nerves located in the extremities, you're doing a great job. Okay. Now we're going to move to the palmar surfaces of the knuckles. We're going to bring the thumb in just to protect the joint, and we are going to thumb walk 3 times across the joint, then move to each individual knuckle and thumb walk up that joint. 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, and 3. Then we are going to go below that palmar line, or below the pads of the knuckles, and we are going to stay above that really thick padded area with the heel of the hand, and we're going to walk in line with each finger 3 times. If for some reason your hands get tired during any of the self-reflexology work, feel free to just switch extremities. There's no need to finish the entire routine the first time, especially if you have arthritis or weaker hands. But always make sure that you do finish the routine. Don't skip over an area, because you never know where that sensitive point is that will actually deactivate any kind of pain or tension that you're struggling with. You always want to make sure that you cover the entire extremity when you walk. But you can switch it up and make sure that you don't get super tired. Okay, after we walk that third reflex area, we're now going to walk our fourth reflex area, that thick padded area of the hand. Again, walking in line with each finger 3 times. Notice how my thumb is staying really nice and bent. I'm not going all the way into a deep bend. Ow, my thumb just kind of popped right there. But I am keeping the bend at a nice 45 just to protect my thumbs. You'll get a workout with the hands. I'm also going really fast to show you guys. But if you notice that your hands are starting to feel a little bit tired, you can always slow down, do another extremity, come back. You don't have to finish the routine, and really just make sure that everything that you're doing feels good, because that's the goal with self-reflexology. So, great job. That is your left hand, and now we are done with the hands.